So good morning, everyone. I believe that we can start our second Q&A webinar on BlockStart's Open Call 3, which is our last call. So before we start, I just wanted to say to you that this webinar will be recorded and publicly available. So you can then also watch the video recording if there's something that throughout the webinar you have missed. And we will make this presentation also available to you by sending you a follow-up email. So do not worry about the presentation because we will send it out back to you. But before we start, so just a couple of more technical recommendations. So please make sure that you have your microphone and your video turned off during the presentation. We kindly ask you to rename yourself to first, last name, and the entity that you represent, because it will be easier for us to identify you during Q&A, especially if you want to raise your hand and speak. Please be aware that there will be a specific slot only dedicated to Q&A. So this is a webinar not only for us to present to you BlockStart and our third open call, but also for you to ask any question that you have regarding the application process. So for making questions, you can either raise your hand by using the raise hand function, as you see here, in the picture in the screen, or you can use the chat. But please use the chat for questions and not for comments so that we can clearly identify which questions are coming up that we need to answer. So I will go through the questions, me or my colleague, João. My name is Nadine Teles. I'm EU Project Manager at F6S, which is one of the partners of the BlockStart consortium, and with me I have João Fernandes from Bright Pixel, which is the project coordinator of BlockStart. So we will be going through your questions, and then we will ask those who have raised their hands to turn off their microphone and ask any question you want, or we will answer the questions in the chat. So here is the agenda for today. So I will start by presenting what is BlockStart. Then my colleague João will be speaking a little bit about our Open Call 3. So what are the timings, about the application process, and so more administrative stuff. Then I will give you some tips and lessons learned that we have learned from previous open calls, so that you are better equipped to apply to our final open call. And then we will have here with us our alumni, so our blockchain startup Datarella, with us Rebecca Johnson, blockchain architect at Datarella, and also Vitor Vieira, so co-founder of Golimpeds, which was one of the SMEs who have tested and implemented Datarella's blockchain solution. And then in the end, we will have, of course, space for some Q&A from your side. So I will start by presenting to you what is BlockStart. So we are a blockchain acceleration program, and we are divided in 3 stages. So we start with the ideation kickoff. We then go to a longer stage called the prototype, and then we finalize with the pilot implementation. But my colleague João will speak about this in a couple of minutes, so I won't go beyond this initial description. But BlockStart aims at fostering blockchain adoption across Europe among startups and SMEs in 3 specific sectors, which are retail, fintech, and ICT. And the main goal of our project is to facilitate business-focused, but also mutual beneficial partnerships between blockchain startups, so the solution providers, but also SME adopters, so the ones who will in the end test, validate, and implement the blockchain solutions to help them grow their current business. And I already present to you myself and BrightPixel, but just to let you know that we are a consortium of 3 entities. So BrightPixel, it's a VC investor. Civita is a consultancy company from Eastern Europe, and we, F6S, are a global community of startup founders. But we are not alone, so we are standing in the shoulders of giants, as we like to call them, which are our ecosystem partners. And we have a link here in the PowerPoint, which you can go through later, in which you can see all the ecosystem partners we have partnered with since the beginning of the project. And these go from VC investors in blockchain companies, such as Lead Block Partners, very important companies for the blockchain business world, such as R3, huge ecosystem for supporting blockchain companies through their Corda blockchain system support, also huge communities such as the DAO Maker. And then we have local ecosystem builders, so such as Startup Lithuania or Made of Lisbon, so who help more local startups. But we have also partnered with events such as the European Blockchain Convention, which is a flagship event in Europe for blockchain. But we also have a huge network of external mentors that together with BlockStart mentors will support you throughout your process during our accelerator. And this goes from investors to founders, CTOs, business developers, and innovation managers. And you can also take a look at this amazing list of mentors in our website. But what do we offer? So you might be wondering, and this is the reason why you probably are watching this webinar. So if you enter our accelerator, you will have access to a variety of perks. So we start with the funding, of course. If you are a blockchain startup, you can receive up to 20K for yourself by the end of the project. But if you are an SME adopter, you can receive up to 4.5K. Then you will go through a 3-stage acceleration program. So the ideation kickoff, the prototype, and then the pilot that will help you fine-tune, test, and demo your blockchain solution with the real users, which are the end user SMEs. But as I already explained to you, we will also have access to personalized mentoring from our BlockStart team, training and additional resources, also from our pool of external mentors. And then, of course, you will have access to a large community of potential investors and other elements of our ecosystem partners. And we, of course, will help you to showcase your solution not only at our events. We will have a demo day where you will pitch your solution, but we have a series of other events, but also in external events, such as we did for our alumni in events such as the European Blockchain Convention this year. Sorry, I stopped sharing the presentation, but we are back on. Yes, we are. Okay. How does it work? So here you have it. We start with the ideation kickoff. This will be 2 days because unfortunately this year it still needs to be online. So it's on the 27th and on the 28th of July. And this ideation kickoff, it's an online event in which the 20 selected, at least the 20 selected blockchain startups will present their initial ideas. So what they have written in their application, what they want to do, what they still need to test regarding the blockchain solution that they have presented. And they will present this solution not only to our BlockStart community, but to a selection of 10 end user SMEs who are in parallel running to an open call for end user SMEs. And then these 20 startups will be evaluated by our business and technical experts, so elements of the jury that we have in that day, and at least 10 will be selected to go to the next stage. This is also a matchmaking event, so you as a startup or an end user SME will have the chance to connect with each other and have a series of meetings, either within the scope of the ideation kickoff or afterwards, to connect between yourselves. So if you are a blockchain startup, you receive 1K for participating at this event, so costs related with the participation. If you are an end user SME, you receive 1.5K for participating at this event. So if you are one of the 10 selected startups who go to the prototype stage, it's the longer time that you will be spending with us, because it's 4 months of prototyping your solution together with our BlockStart mentors and pool of external experts between August and November this year. So you will be supported in terms of developing your solution towards product and market fit. And of course, this support will be provided virtually by our team, but also by our pool of external mentors. And here you will receive, by the end of the prototype stage, 50K for your successful participation in this stage. Just to let you know that end users, SMEs, don't participate in this stage. This is, of course, only for blockchain startups. So end user SMEs then appear in the last stage of our accelerator, which is the pilot stage. 2 months, it goes from December until February 2022. And here, only 5 from our top 10 are selected to prototype their solution together with up to 20 end user SMEs. So here in this stage, you will be matched with end user SMEs who have their specific needs and think that your solution might address those needs, those challenges. And here you have 2 months to, together with the end user SMEs, to test and implement this solution. And we will end the pilot stage with a demo day in late February 2022, in which you can promote and showcase your solution to a broad audience. So last year we had more than 100 people watching us, between VC investors and members of our ecosystem. And in the end of this stage, you'll receive 4K for your participation at the pilot stage, and the corresponding end user SME for their time will receive 3K after the end of this stage. So this is how our accelerator goes. But who are we targeting? So I've been speaking about blockchain startups and end user SMEs, and these are our 2 main targets. So the solution providers on the one hand, and the solution adopters on the other hand, because our main goal is to encourage the collaboration between both these 2 types of companies. So the ones who have the needs and the ones who address those needs. So for blockchain startups, we are looking for startups in the fields of fintech, ICT, and retail. They need to be seed, early, and growth stage startups in the form of SMEs, as it is stated by the European Commission recommendation. And in the next slide, I will be speaking about what do we mean, or what the European Commission means of being in the form of an SME. And then end user SMEs, of course, SMEs also operating in the field of fintech, ICT, and retail, who want to implement blockchain solutions to help them grow their business. And regarding SME adopters, as I said, there is a specific open call for the SME adopters that runs in parallel with the open call for blockchain startups. And they can either apply individually because they have a need, so they think that this BlockStart process is important for them to engage potentially with blockchain providers, or they can be recommended by blockchain startups, and so they apply to the program. And these are the criteria that both startups and end user SMEs must fulfill. So this is what we mean by them having a form of SME. So we need to comply with the European Commission recommendation for SME definition. So this means that if you want to be part of the BlockStart program, either as a provider or adopter of blockchain technology, you need to have a net count in annual work unit less than 250 people working for you. And you need to have at the same time either an annual turnover, which is less or equal to 50 million, or an annual balance sheet, which is total less or equal to 43 million. So number 1 and 2, they are mandatory, but regarding number 2, you can either choose between the first part of the sentence or the second part. You must be located in an EU member state or in an H2020 associated country. And for that, we provide you here in the PowerPoint a link where you can take a look of the associated countries of H2020. So make sure that either you or any SME adopter that you know comply with this criteria. And of course, you need to be a technology provider or adopter in the fintech, ICT, and retail sectors. And just a final question regarding this part of the companies. So for blockchain startups, so our open call for DLT developers, you don't actually need to be a registered company when you apply. So you can be an individual, an innovator, an entrepreneur, or a team if you are developing your product within the team, but you do not still have a registered company. You can apply to our open call to DLT developers, and only if you are selected do you need to register a company by the time that you enter our ideation kickoff event, so that we can then pay you the grant that you deserve. And for this, there is a specific annex that you need to fill in, which is Annex 5.1, so not Annex 5, which is the SME definition, but Annex 5.1, because you are not, of course, a company yet. And this is only a written commitment in which you sign, saying that if you are selected, then you will register a company to receive the grant. So how about the funding? So you may be wondering. So we received the funding from the European Commission. This is called cascade funding, and they provide us with the funding that we then provide to you is in a lump sum form. So this funding that we have is given to you after the end of each stage based on a series of reports and deliverables that we will agree with you, and also the KPIs that you will define in the beginning of the project. And if you made until the end of each stage in a positive way, then you are provided with the money, and you need to sign, of course, a contract with the BlockStart consortium, which is actually, you can see a template of this in our Annex 7 of our documentation kit. And in this contract, everything will be explained. So each stage and what you will receive in each stage. And also things regarding confidentiality, IP, so all of that is stated in the contract. So please, if you have any questions regarding this, please do take a look at the template that we provide in our documentation kit, so that you are enlightened regarding these particular questions. So as I said before, each startup will receive up to 20K. So after the ideation kickoff, you receive 1K. After the prototype stage, you receive 15K. And by the end of the pilot stage, you will receive the remaining, which is 4K. If you are an end user SME, you, of course, your time during our program is shorter, but nevertheless, you'll receive up to 4.5K. 1.5 for your participation at the ideation kickoff, and 3K for your participation implementing the blockchain solution with one of our top 5 startups. And as I said, we are results driven, so we do not provide pre-funding, but together with you, we will establish a series of deliverables, KPIs, and reports that you need to deliver and submit by the end of each stage. And if everything goes okay, and normally it does, you will then be provided the grant as a lump sum, in a lump sum mode. So just some key stats and testimonials from our side, because we already had 2 calls, and we are currently in our second acceleration program. So we had 205 startups applying, 114 SME applications to implement blockchain to help them grow their business from 42 countries. So far, we have supported 40 startups in our previous open calls, and we have already had 34 pilots implemented. So we are currently in the pilot stage of our second acceleration program. So this KPI here counts with the current ones as well. And we have 91% of satisfaction rates, either from our startups or from our SMEs, which I think it's a very good feedback regarding our program and our support and what we can do for all these amazing startups and SMEs in the scope of our program. And here on the other side of the screen, of course, that you can see some testimonials from our startups regarding the support that we provide. So not only technically, but also in terms of support with their business, with their networking, and with the matchmaking with SMEs, which we hope that in the future it continues, and so they can do, of course, commercial partnerships. Here are our top 5 startups from our first acceleration program. So as you can see, we go from blockchain application to fight or to monitor corona, tracking, so more related with supply chain, but also invoices and smart contracts, and also data notarization. And with us today, for instance, we have Datarella, which is the tracking for supply chains, and they have implemented 3 pilots, one of them with GoLimpets, the end user SME that we also have here today with us. And currently, we are in our second acceleration program, so you can see the top 5 startups that we are supporting now, who are currently implementing their pilots with end user SMEs. And so as you can see, this goes from applying blockchain to events. So we have here a ticketing system and also applied to Corona. So with the health passport, we have a more agriculture related platform for agriculture insurance, digital documentation, so more associated with smart contracts, legal contracts. Then we have fintech, so secondary loan marketplace, but also a very interesting solution more related with mobility, with transport, so a digital identity for motorcycles. And now I give the word to my colleague, João Fernandes from Bright Pixel, our project coordinator, to speak to you a little bit about our open culture.
Okay, thank you very much, Nadine. So now focusing a bit more on Open Call 3, although it's always great to have a nice overview about the program and the previous acceleration programs also. But so to give you an overview of this open call, we can go next, please, Nadine. So we are, of course, currently accepting applications until the 26th of May. And if I can give the best piece of advice possible would be to apply beforehand. Ideally 1 week and a half before. Even if you are able to submit your application by this week, it would be we would be able to try to check if eventually anything, if any problem may arise in terms of eligibility, and then we can still have some time to ask you to resubmit the application. But so after you apply, hopefully in the following days, we will do an eligibility check, and to the ones that are not eligible, we will reach out to you within 1 to 2 weeks. Then external evaluation will be done by external experts. Each application will be evaluated by at least 2 external evaluators, and the ones that are accepted will participate and will be invited to participate in this ideation kickoff event, where we will select at least 20 startups, and 10 of them will move to prototype stage. They will pitch in this event. They will be evaluated by a jury, and will move to the 4-month prototype stage, after which 5 of them, the finalists from this 3rd acceleration program, will move to pilot stage and will implement their solutions and get feedback from SME adopters from December to February, when we will organize the demo day, the final demo day of the program. So then next we have the timeline for SME adopters. So in parallel we have this that will run until 26th of May, the open call for startups, and at the same time for SME adopters. So SME adopters, you may apply until 6th of July, this application is devised to participate in the ideation kickoff event. So this online event from 27-28 of July, where the participation of SME adopters, they will also be pitching, but only to present their needs and their use case, and the scope of their participation is more for matchmaking with the developers that will select to pitch there. So the first opportunity to get to know some interesting startups, to foster some initial conversations, and then the ones that apply to participate in this event will also be eligible to participate in a pilot stage from December to February. So for the SME adopters, we'll have a second cutoff date, most probably in beginning of November, and so we have these 2 periods. The ones that want to already interact with DLT developers by the end of July and participate in this event, we recommend you to apply, of course, until 6th of July. The ones that maybe get to know BlockStart later, or eventually find it most relevant to aim a participation only in a pilot stage, you may have until early November to apply. But anyway, I think that applying until the 6th of July will already give you some opportunity to start interacting with blockchain startups from early on, so from July onwards. So in terms of the evaluation criteria, in the next slide, for so it's actually how to participate. Yeah, well, of course, this obvious recommendation of applying beforehand, because sometimes the platform may have some delays, or there may be an overload of people in the application website, and not only for this, but for the sake of submitting a proper application, you should aim to apply as soon as possible. And also because very commonly some applicants, they are not eligible due to some minor mistakes, and if you apply in the coming days, we will still be able to help you. If you apply some days only before the deadline, we won't have time to signal any potential problem. Of course, all applications should be submitted in English. Bear in mind that the application is based on an online application form, and then in 3 annexes, Annex 3.1, Annex 4, and Annex 5 or 5.1, and Nadine later on will further explain this. And also that you are only able to submit 1 proposal per team, per company, and if you apply with 2 proposals, we will only consider the last one and disregard the first that you submitted. So better focus on 1 application for sure. Then for the next, for the applicants that may be wondering that they have applied to Open Call 1 or Open Call 2, either startups or SME adopters, you will still be able to apply again for this last opportunity. What you'll need to do is to sign all that in 1 question, question 7 for startups and 12 for SMEs, and you should mention what was the theme and the title of the previous proposal, and also explain how did you evolve your project from that time. So why we should change our minds and give you this opportunity, and so this is also a possibility for the ones that are already aware of BlockStart from previous open calls and that even already applied. The only exceptions would be for startups that already participated in our prototype stage. So this 4-month acceleration, the ones that already benefited from that won't be eligible. And for SMEs that already engaged in the pilot stage, that already had a collaboration with DLT startups. So of course you already benefited from the program, so you won't be able to resubmit a proposal. Then about the application form, we are fully GDPR compliant, and so you should be rest assured that we will only share this information within the consortium and with the external evaluators that will be assessing your applications, and so we are committed with the strictest rules from the European Commission on this. Also, it's very relevant not only to have great responses in the application form, but also to bear in mind to upload a PDF, Annex 4, Annex 5, and signed PDFs. You can either sign it manually or with a digital signature, and upload and sign also the Annex 3.1, the proposal supplement that provides some further technical details on the application, and also so make sure to go through all questions. In principle, with 2-3 hours max, you should be able to deliver a good application. And so if it is the case that you don't already have a company set up, you may still apply by uploading Annex 5.1. So instead of the document that shows that you are a registered SME and that you are actually an SME kind of company, you may sign this template of commitment to establish an SME. So what you should bear in mind is that if you are selected to participate in our ideation kickoff event, you will only receive our grant payment and will only be able to be admitted into the program if you then establish an actual SME. But by the time of this application, you should only sign this commitment if you are yet to register a company. And some final overview. So please bear in mind this time frame. Apply until 26th of May. Then by mid June, we should be able to to communicate with all teams the ones that are not eligible. Also, toward the end of June, ideally around the third week of June, we will also inform the ones that were selected and the ones that were not, with also the reasoning for your evaluation shared through an evaluation form. And so the first end goal will be to participate in this pitch day and this matchmaking day by the end of July. So for the SMEs, the timeline will be applying until 6th of July, and then eligibility also, we will reach out to the ones that are not eligible, and the ones that are not eligible due to some administrative mistakes may still reapply to the second cutoff date, but ideally you would have at first shot an application that is eligible to try to participate in this first event, the ideation kickoff, and we will inform the 10 select SMEs by the second week of July, so 2 weeks, something around that before the event. As it is an online event, so not so much problem with being such short notice, but you'll still be 2 weeks away from the event, and so you will be able to prepare yourself for pitching your use case at this event. And so just some final words on the next slide about evaluation criteria. So apart from the eligibility check, we explained this eligibility criteria in the coming slides that Nadine will refer to, but also in the guidelines for applicants, the document that explains our program and our open call that we definitely recommend you to analyze. And in terms of the external evaluators, 2 of them will be assessing your application, and on the topics of concept, so the concept underlying your solution, how novel it is, and also the inherent value of this proposal, the technology, so how you show that you are capable of achieving an MVP status by November this year, and all the technical milestones. So what is even the USP and the most relevant technical features of your solution. Then the impact, so the business that can be made out of your solution. What is the business model that you are foreseeing, how this will be financially viable, and even the impact, economic and societal impact that your solution will enable. And finally, last but not the least, definitely, so in startups, as we are aiming, the team is very relevant element to show that you are the right people to make this project a reality. So make sure to explain not only the core profiles, but how the dynamics of the team make it a winning group of people. And for the SMEs, the criteria, the eligibility check are a bit similar to the DLT developers, with some slight differences. Namely, you'll have to submit your answers to the Do You Need Blockchain Assessment tool. So it's a survey that we created to try to see how the need that you are tackling is, and also the characteristics of your SME are relevant for a blockchain implementation. And in terms of the evaluation, it will be done by the BlockStart consortium, so this time not by external evaluators, and we will analyze the potential that you show to be matched with selected blockchain startups. So basically, if your use case, if your need proves to be relevant to the blockchain startups that we already selected to the program, or that we will select to the program. This will be the main criteria for, because of course SMEs should be relevant to be adopting the technologies that we are supporting in the program. Then also the innovation level of your use case, so how your use case would be a great showcase of blockchain implementation, and then the overall score of the Do You Need Blockchain assessment tool, the previous survey that I've mentioned. So, but ending off with I would say quite critical part of our presentation, that will be our tips to deliver a great application, also some recommendations, and finally the testimonial by Datarella, DLT startup, and GoLimpets, an SME adopter, so that you see if after all this program is fitting to you or not. So thank you, Nadine.
Thank you,
can go ahead.
So now going for the tips and lessons learned from our previous open calls. We have divided the presentation in what you should do before applying and when you are applying, and then some more administrative stuff that is always a nightmare for any company that we know it's applying for this particular type of government-funded grants. So before applying, what we wanted to let you know is that you should really read carefully all the information that we provide on our website. So we have a dedicated page for blockchain startups and another for end user SMEs. So here in this particular link, it's for blockchain startups, and there you will find a summary of all that we have been presenting here, but also our documentation kit for this open call, which obviously includes the guidelines for applicants, which is our Bible for our third open call, which you should read carefully to see if you indeed are eligible, or if it makes sense for you to even apply to blockchain given the status of your company or the development stage in which you are with your blockchain product or service. And then go through our FAQ, because we have been updating it quite regularly based on all the answers that we have, all the questions that we have from your side in these webinars, by email through our F6S BlockStart platform. So please go and take a look. Then before applying, also make sure that you are eligible, so that you comply with the criteria that we have regarding geography. So if you are a member of the EU or an H2020 associated country, if you are operating in one of our three sectors, so ICT, fintech, or retail, if your technology is in the correct development stage, so the TRL stage that João has previously explained as one of our criteria, and also the development stage. Mainly because these criteria would be, we will take a look at them before the actual evaluation from our external experts. So we will be taking a look, namely the geography and the sectors, to see if you are eligible or not. So if you are not, we don't want you to waste your time applying to BlockStart, but feel free to reach out with any questions regarding this, and we will support you, of course, or even redirect you to other programs that might better fit your particular needs. And then please check if it fits you. So if you are in need of the services that we provide with our accelerator, with the prototype stage, with the matchmaking with these end user SMEs. So take a look at our startups profiles to see if you are in similar stages, if you are building blockchain solutions. So we did have some startups coming in back to us. They were not related with blockchain. So of course the program did not fit their needs, their challenges. Take a look at the testimonials that we have from our startups in our website or in previous webinars, and make sure that your solution and your company are within the BlockStart scope. But if you have any question, any doubt, again, please make sure to reach out either by email or by using the Success platform, and so that we can take a look and see if indeed it makes sense for you or not to participate in our acceleration program. And then some tips when you submit your application to have success. So when you go to the application page, there's a headline there, again, reminding you of the importance of reading the documentation kit, but also with all the annexes that you need to upload from the application form, fill in, sign, and then put it back again, so that you need to download it and upload it again. So make sure that you read this headline. You are aware of the annexes, so 3.1, 4, and 5, or alternatively 5.1 if you are not still a registered company. Then read each question carefully. We sometimes provide detailed instructions in some questions, and we do not intend for you to give a very long answer. So be descriptive, specific, give specific answers, be clear and concise, and make sure that if there are any instructions that you take a look at them, because that means that we are asking for specific details for that question, and that usually helps you build your case for that particular questions. And do this as you would do if you were pitching your solution to an investor. So clear and concise and pitching for getting funding. So that you know your competition. This is quite important, or that you know similar solutions. Normally, you are not inventing the wheel, but you are reinventing the wheel. This being said, please make sure that you clearly identify the problem you are addressing, you are aware of it, give data and assumption. Statistics is always helpful, and clearly identify that you are aware of what is going on, that your solution makes sense, and especially if you then describe your competition, because usually there's always competition, even if it's indirectly related. So give your market analysis, clearly explain your business model, your product, and your business roadmap. And then pay extra attention when you are filling the administrative forms, which are the annexes 3.1, 4, and 5. So I can get enough, cannot explain you enough these annexes, but they are really important, and sometimes very interesting startups do not make the cut because of these administrative things. And this is our last open call, so there is no chance to apply again. So beware if you have signed digitally or manually all annexes, if you have filled in all annexes, if you have ticked all the boxes, because that is an exclusion criteria. And then, as João was saying, try to apply 2 weeks in advance so that we can help you if you have any problem, if you have any doubt. So we are here 100% for you and for supporting you. And then just to let you know that you can apply to BlockStart with an idea. So it doesn't need to be a fully grown solution, but you need, of course, to clearly identify that you can build upon this idea and create a prototype in the 4 months of our acceleration program, and then piloted in end-user SMEs. So you need to clearly identify in your application that you will be able to achieve TRL from 6 to 9 in the scope of our 6 months program, even though you are just applying with an idea. So we do not exclude really good ideas based on your development stage. And last but not least, administrative stuff. So a nightmare for any startup. And that is why, based on our previous experience, that we have drafted a blog post. So you will find it here in this link. It will go directly to the blog post on our website, in which you have more detailed and more comprehensive explanation of what is Annex 3.1, Annex 4, and specifically Annex 5, which seems to be the most complicated annex for our startups and our SMEs to fill in. And why? Because this is a more technical annex in which you need to provide some financial data, so related with the number of people that you have working in your company, your annual turnover, things like that, that are the criteria that will make you or not an SME. And this annex exists because we need to be able to show to the European Commission that you are a startup in the form of an SME. And here you have tables that if you filled in and you comply with the criteria, this will let us know that you are indeed an SME based on the criteria defined by the European Commission. But there are always support manuals, and here in this link you will find the SME guidelines from the European Commission regarding the SME definition. So please take a look. That is very enlightening when you are filling in this annex. And this annex is divided in 2 parts. So if you are an autonomous company, you don't need to worry, because you only need to fill in and sign the first page that says that you are an autonomous company. So you do your accounting as an autonomous company, and you fill in the table that is there with the mandatory criteria that we have previously said. So the number of employees that you have, your annual turnover, things like that. The problem is if you are a linked or a partner company. So if you are somehow connected with other companies, you are part of a group, you have investors in your company. So for this, you need not only to fill in the first page, but you need to take a look at the annexes that go after page 3. So in page 3, you have a description of what we mean by linked or partner. It's clearly explained there what we mean by these 2 types of situations. And then you need to identify if you are a partner company or if you have partner companies, you need to fill in Annex A. If you are or have linked companies, you need to fill in Annex B. And please fill in all the tables in those annexes, clearly identified who are your partner or linked companies, how much do they own in your particular company, and based on that aggregated data, you will fill in the table in page 2, which is our master table, and this will give us an idea if you are or not an SME. But should you have any doubts in this particular annex, please let us know. Like I said, we are here to support you, especially in this administrative stuff. So please always feel free to reach out if you have any question regarding this more bureaucratic part of applying to BlockStart. So we need to comply with the rules from the European Commission. They are the ones indirectly providing you the funding. So I know that is annoying, but we are here to support you with this, with this part. And this being said, I give you here some important links. So if you want to make your questions in our F6S BlockStart page, so there's a forum for Q&A. It might be others there who have already been through what you are going through that may help you, but me and João are always there to also help you out. You can reach out by using our email, so our hello email, also for Q&A, or for more specificities regarding your startup or your blockchain solution. Here you also have the links to the online application form, either for startups or for end-user SMEs. Again, the link for our Open Code 3 Bible, and the link for our FAQ. And if you want to sign to our newsletter, because normally if you sign to our newsletter, you are the ones who received every news firsthand, even before we post it on social media or even in our website. So if you want to keep up with what we are doing in BlockStart, our events, just sign into our newsletter. And now for a very important part of this webinar, which is actually the testimonial of our alumni, so the ones who have already gone through our acceleration program. I believe that we have already here Rebecca and Vitor with us. But before I give the word to them, so Rebecca Johnson, she's a blockchain architect for Datorella. Datorella was one of our top 5 startups building their blockchain product in our first accelerator program. And one of the 3 SME adopters was GoLimpets, who by the time implemented Datarella's blockchain products to help them grow their Limpets business. And with us we have Vitor Vieira, which is one of the co-founders of GoLimpets, who also participated, of course, in the pilot stage of our first acceleration program. So Rebecca, if you are here, perhaps you want to go first.
Hi guys, my name is Philip.
It's Philip then.
yeah, like Rebecca could not join the meeting today, so she asked me if I could hop in and do a presentation for her.
Of course, no problem. Do you have a presentation? Do you want me to start sharing?
Yes, I would share my screen and we could go through some slides. Okay. Okay, I think you guys can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm going full screen. No, wait 1 second. Can you see the presentation now also in presenter mode?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, great. So, hi guys, my name is Philip. I'm here instead of Rebecca, because she could not join and asked me to join. And I'm going to tell you something about Track and Trust. It's a blockchain-based supply chain solution, which we developed with the help of BlockIS, also with the help of BlockStart and the European Space Agency ESA. So maybe first of all, something to the background of Track and Trust. So we started in November 2018 with a kickoff event in London with a humanitarian organization. And the big question in the room was, how can we use blockchain technology to make supply chains more efficient? So if you look at the problem, like a humanitarian crisis, it's always really complicated. There are like a lot of events happening really fast. It's unplanned. Then there is like bad communication and infrastructure. And there's also low trust in the stakeholders. And this equals in high logistic cost, but later more on that. So the challenges in humanitarian supply chain, you have like a lack in end-to-end visibility of the suppliers and the individuals, because there are like a lot of stakeholders involved. This results then in very high logistic costs, and we'll go over this in just a minute. So because this is how the typical supply chain looks like. So we have like airdrops from planes, and then you have vehicles stuck in the road and like dirt roads and bad communication, destroyed telecommunication infrastructure. And then in the end also is everything really chaotic. So I think what would be nice to give you a little overview in the stakeholders of the supply chain, of the humanitarian supply chain. So you get like a feeling how long and complex this is. We have a humanitarian officer. They make the order. For example, if they need new tents in Ghana, they order them with the supplier. The supplier produces the tents or has like stocks of the tents and contracts the logistics service provider, which then flies the tents to the consignee at the country of crisis. The goods are picked up by the implementing partner, which hires then logistic transport companies to bring the goods to the beneficiary. So it's really long, many stakeholders involved, and they all not necessarily talk to each other in a structured way. So as you can see here, like we drafted out like the whole value chain again, and it's really cloudy because the humanitarian officer would need to talk to each of the individuals in order to know, okay, where is the shipment, how's everything going, will it arrive in time. And then you have like another problem, like in the first part of the value chain, you have probably internet connection. But the moment you get in the area of crisis, for example, if it's like there's like armed conflict happening, you don't have any internet connection. And so like sources estimated 80% of the cost of a humanitarian organization, which is acting international, is related to supply chain cost. And also because they use like to spread this information where the stuff is, they use just Excel and Outlook and email and WhatsApp and satellite telephone. So it's really chaotic, goods get lost, human error occurs. And so we thought we should create a solution which allows to link the handover data into the blockchain, where then the organization can use the blockchain, the humanitarian organization can use the blockchain as a single point of truth in order to gather information where is the state of a delivery. And we tackled another problem is the communication problem. And so we developed a prototype for a LoRa mesh network, which allows to send blockchain transactions over an offline mesh network to a satellite uplink from satellite in the internet and then into the blockchain. So there's two parts our system Track and Trust consists of. So first time as mentioned, here you see like prototypes of the LoRa nodes. They, for example, can be equipped on LKWs, on trucks, and they broadcast the transaction happening about information where the goods are, and then go to the satellite. And last but not least, they go into the blockchain, where the humanitarian organization and also other stakeholders of the system can gather the information about the state of the shipment. But later more. So what it does, here we, so what Track and Trust does, we have here like stakeholders in the supply chain. And I mean, it can be any supply chain. Co-Limpets will tell more about this. It doesn't need to be a humanitarian organization, and their supplier and their logistic partner can be also like a farmer and their logistic partner, and then the supermarket or the warehouse, whatever. So here we have like a really smart, really small supply chain for you guys. We have an initializer who makes an agreement with a manufacturer, and then some handover of goods are taking place in the world. And what we're doing is we are like saving like a content hash of the agreement, of the handovers in our blockchain, as I said, so everyone has like an overview, what's the state of the delivery and maybe who has it. So as blockchain technology, we're using a private permission Ethereum network. Reasons for that is, I mean, probably everyone in the blockchain space knows that the transaction costs in Ethereum public and the mainnet are really high at the moment. And it's kind of slow, not scalable. I mean, there are solutions working on these issues, but they're still in construction, let's say it this way. So for us, a private permission Ethereum network was the best suited option at this time. And another benefit is that you don't have a single point of failure or truth, and it's temporary silent because we have different organizations hosting this private permission Ethereum network. So here I have a little demo for you guys, how it looks like, and parts of this we developed with BlockStart. So here's like the login. That's, for example, a part we developed with BlockStart that you can, like, each user can create his own account and just log into our web app. Then you can fill like the onboarding sheet where you live, typical onboarding. And then you have a dashboard where you see, okay, here are different shippings, events like lobster shipment, then where it goes, what items, the amount, and the action type. And you have some shipment updates, all available for different stakeholders in the system. And then you have like kind of a map interface where you can also track then the delivery. And the information like about the handover is like read from the blockchain, from our track and trust blockchain. Right. More screenshots. And this is how, this is actually a part we also developed with BlockStart, the mobile signing. So in case, so let's say we have a handover, like someone produces lobsters and we are at the market in Munich, and the delivered truck brings them to the vendor, to the marketplace, and said, okay, here in Track and Trust, we want to track this handover. So please sign this transaction that I give you the lobsters with your mobile phone. So the marketplace owner would take out his phone and scans the QR code from the delivery guy and gets like a confirmation about the shipment. And that would be then saved on the blockchain and you can reconstruct it. So as I said, with the help of BlockStart, we developed this kind of multi-tenancy function so that like not each actor sees everything in the system, but just like the delivery guy sees what is important for the delivery guy, or the customer in the end would see, for example, the whole process. Then we have this mobile signing function that you can just sign a transaction with your mobile phone by scanning the QR code and confirming. With the self-onboarding function that users can create their own accounts. And before we needed to send them the key pairs, now they can create it themselves. And they were basically the tasks we accomplished with the help of BlockStart. Yes, so like to wrap up, Track and Trust allows tracking accountability. So you see like who's currently in charge of the goods. It's the handover documentation with blockchain. So that means you can trust the data. No one can not one actor can manipulate the data. And it's use case agnostic. So we can go from humanitarian supply chain, where we track tents, to food supply chain, to fashion, to any kind of handover tracking, right? And we have this offline functionality, which I have not talked so much about, but I think it's also a little bit out of scope. But with our LoRa nodes, especially made for the humanitarian events, we can even send or sign this kind of this QR code scanning and signing and send it over LoRa mesh nodes into a satellite station and the internet and then the blockchain. So that's also a feature we offer. And that's about Track and Trust from our side. And we're looking forward to hear about the experience GoLimpets had of our system.
Thank you so much, Philip, for our presentation and for presenting us what we have developed during our program, which was an amazing thing to watch. And now perhaps over to Vitor for the experience with Datarella.
Thanks. I didn't prepare a presentation. I will be quite short, but I would like to ask Philip if you could show us the slide with the value chain. We have this nice horizontal line from the initiator of the Track and Trust.
Yes.
Because to give a bit of context about GoLimpets. So GoLimpets is mainly prepared to work towards aquaculture of limpets as a mussel for food, as a food product, and works also as a seafood distributor in the regional market of Madeira. So the value chain here that we're talking about is agro-food. Is a bit different from the supply chain that was shown, but not at all that different. We still have pretty much the same kind of operators. Yeah, one of those there, like in slide 12, yeah, for example, this, you can see this, these four elements as pretty much the same type of business that we develop. So, but instead of humanitarian aid, we're talking about seafood. Seafood that we gather from different producers, in here detailed as suppliers. We organize the transport, but the logistics is actually performed by different entities until the receiving entity, which is another an individual, in this case gastronomy, will receive the food product. And I just finished reading up the book More from Less from Andrew McAfee. If anyone hasn't read it, I highly recommend it, because he is he points out a very clear cut of today's economy. In the last 10 years, we've been working towards dematerialization of the economy. That's the part of the book. I call it, actually, it's the success of data-driven services. Basically, since 2000 that we've been working diligently in internet supported services, and the last 10 years have been very clear how important to our economy that is. And even though we are supplying a physical product, which is seafood, you saw it in some of the screenshots there, lobsters, for example, there's the data that comes with it also has its own value. And the added value in this, for our case, is that we can show and keep track of everything that's happening in this process. And trust is not to be understated in all of this process of managing live seafood. There's a lot of detail there connected towards optimization of that process, gaining the confidence and the trust of the client that we are able to deliver a good quality product in due time. So it changes the paradigm how supply chains are made. And definitely the work here with Datarella was very interesting to show how their solution adapts to our use case, and how we can collaborate there, how we can actually add value in both directions. So I think it was a very interesting collaboration, and I'm happy to work with Datarella in the future to have this implemented and streamlined, let's say. That's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Victor, and thank you so much, Philip, for your feedback on your partnership, on your collaboration, but also on your experience in our program. And me and João and the remaining team of BlockStart, of course, we wish you all the best, and that you can continue with this amazing partnership, not only on lobsters, but also on other types of seafood. So thank you so much to both of you. And now I think that we can go to our Q&A part of this session. But João, there has been a lot of questions in our Q&A.
I think that I can go through the questions placed by Nuno and Sevkan. So just I shared the answers through the chat to Nuno, but just to summarize, Nuno was asking first about the fact that his project seems to be tackling, it seems to be more a B2C or at least B2B2C kind of project, and so the main target users seem to be individuals, and this may be a possibility even within BlockStart. The only thing that a project should assure to be able to be eligible for BlockStart is to show that interaction with SME companies would be relevant for them. So though their end client would be individuals, they should have in their value chain interaction with SMEs. So let's say an SME may be an intermediary, may be relevant to partner with SMEs to reach the end customers of their solutions. So I would say that not only B2B projects, but also B2B2C. If there is any player within your value chain that is an SME and that its feedback would be relevant for your developments, you may still apply. Also, the second question was regarding the scope of the ideation kickoff event, and we have to admit that the name may be a bit misleading. So we call it ideation, not because in the scope of this event you are already designing the basis of your project. So you should, by the time of application, you should have a plan or a mock-up or even an MVP prepared to start the participation in BlockStart. So the ideation kickoff is more in terms of sharing ideas and also validating these ideas with some potential SME adopters, presenting this to an extended panel of juries. And so by the time of this ideation kickoff event, this will mainly be a pitch event where each startup will have, between the presentation and the Q&A, roughly 10 minutes to showcase its project. Then the SMEs will also present their needs and their use cases. There will be also a matchmaking period for startups and SMEs to get to know when there is mutual interest. And by the end of the second day, we will select 10 startups to move to the actual acceleration program. So the bottom line of this 2 days event is mainly to get to know a bit better the projects and choose the 10 that we find the best fit for BlockStart program. It's also relevant to notice that we will, before the ideation kickoff event, to the 20 startups selected, we'll request some presentation so that the jury not only relies its evaluation during the actual event, but before the event, like 2 weeks before the event, the jury starts analyzing further elements about each project. So it won't be a spontaneous kind of decision. It will be with good reasoning. And then the projects, the question from Sevkan, that Sevkan seems to have 5 projects that are in MVP stage, and if it's possible for these projects to apply. So if you are applying with one company, you should apply only with that one project. So if, for instance, some of these projects are owned by or being developed by other companies, you may still apply. But if it is one sole organization, you should apply only with one project. And if you apply with more than one project, we will only consider the last one that you submit. And the fact that you are already in MVP status, so BlockStart has kind of flexible scope. So we accommodate not only projects that are in almost ideation stage or mock-up stage, but also in MVP. So the bottom line is that your solution should not be like completely launched in the market and already having great traction, and so this would fall outside of the scope of BlockStart. But if you have an MVP solution that demands further and major developments in the coming 4 to 6 months, and that you believe that it makes sense within BlockStart, and that you show that within BlockStart you'll be able to move forward with your project, both on technical and business components, and that this will be actually an acceleration program and not something that you already have it fully developed and you'll just keep up with the project only for the sake of the financial grant or even connection with potential network partners of BlockStart. So if you are actually able to show that you are committed to further advance your solution, implement new features, new components, have some major revamping maybe of your MVP solution. So for that, BlockStart would be a good fit. So MVPs, yes, you may be already in MVP stage, but you should be able to show through your application that until the end of the year, you'll be having an ambitious plan of product and business development in place. Okay, so
you have gone through all the questions, but I think that Nuno Cortesão has the last question, but perhaps he is still writing.
Yeah. So if you feel free,
you can also raise your hand here in the participants function. Yes, we have a raised hand from Ivan. So Ivan.
Hi, Ivan here from Insta, a company in Slovakia. So I would have a question regarding that, how many blockchain developers will be accepted into the program? I think you already told, but there were several numbers. So for this kickoff, there was at least 20 blockchain startups. Is this correct?
Yeah, we put 20 or at least 20 because we for sure will select 20, but based on the quality of the applications, we may select, let's say, up to 25, because basically this is due to the fact that we have some spare budget to commit to the startups in this last acceleration program. So we will be able to, for instance, select more than 20 startups, and even eventually for prototype stage, we will select at least 10 startups, but depending on the way that we manage the budget and the quality of the projects, we may select 11. And also for pilot stage, the last stage, where in principle there should be 5 startups participating. Also, we have some margin to select 6, 7 projects out of the 10 or 11. So, but what is taken as granted is the 20, and depending on the potential of the applications, we will be happy to have a bit more participating in this event.
Sure, thanks, Joel. One more question, and that's last and simple one. So what is the cutoff date? There was written the first cutoff date is expected to run from the 17th of March till 6th of July. What does that mean?
Perhaps I can go to the slide.
It is for the SME adopters. So in BlockStart, we have always these twofold streams of startups, the ones that we tend to call also the solution providers, the ones that develop blockchain solutions, and the SME adopters that are the ones that will implement these blockchain solutions developed under the program, and that will implement or test in their activities. So, and the SME adopters may even be tech companies that are lacking some blockchain component, but based on the projects that we selected, may be eager to validate if there would be a fit between these blockchain solutions and their use case. And so regarding the blockchain startups open call, the last deadline will be 26th of May. And for the SME adopters, so companies eager to test some blockchain solutions, the first cutoff is the 6th of July. So 6th of July, the ones that apply until that time will be eligible to the ideation kickoff, to be evaluated for this ideation kickoff, this pitch day event. That will be, in this perspective of the SMEs, more like a matchmaking event and an event where they will get a first contact with the blockchain projects. And then the second cutoff will be devised to select the SMEs that will move the 20 SMEs, at least 20 SMEs that will pilot and give feedback and demo the solutions of the 5 finalist blockchain startups. And so, but if you apply until the first cutoff date, you will be eligible both for the ideation kickoff event and also for the pilot stage. So the second cutoff is the one that of course, that the ideation kickoff would already have passed. So for the second cutoff, the aim would be to see if you would be selected to participate in pilot stage. Makes
sense. So basically, these 20 blockchain/DLT startups will be selected at the time of kickoff, which is 27, 28 July, correct?
No, in 27, 28 of July, we will, from the 20 startups, we will select 10 startups at least that will move to prototype stage. So, so the scope is for blockchain startups. 20 are selected after 26th of May during June. These 20 pitch at this event by the end of July. And from this group of 20 startups, 10 will move to the acceleration stage, the MVP development stage from August to November. And from these 10 startups, 5 are selected to the pilot stage. So from December to February to the actual stage where they will be more deeply engaging with SME adopters. For SME adopters, basically 10 will participate in the ideation kickoff event. So it's just an event to matchmake with relevant blockchain developers. And then for this is one cutoff, and the participation is just this. Then for the second cutoff date, we will select 20 more SMEs that will implement the solutions selected for pilot stage. So while in the ideation kickoff event there may not be a deep connection between the startups and the SMEs, because it's just an event to have some matchmaking and some conversations and some sharing of needs and solutions. For the pilot stage, we will pretty much select the SMEs that fit the blockchain startup solutions. So very much the selection of SMEs for pilot stage will be very much based on if their need, if their use case is able to be tackled by the 5 startup finalists that we will select by that time. So, and I don't know even if it was sufficiently clear, but may you share eventually the profile of your companies, so how you are foreseeing the participation in this program? I assume in the form of SME adopter eventually. Okay, so I assume that it was all clear. So for Melina, question, how this 6-month acceleration program would be. So the BlockStart basically, and this slide pretty much tries to summarize that. So what we call the 6-month acceleration program, it is roughly 6-7 months. So 4 months from August to November, the 10 blockchain startups will further develop their solution, both the product roadmap and the business roadmap. So the blockchain startups are intended to further developing their features and their actual solution, and then also start engaging with potential adopters of their solutions. So try to validate the product market fit with meetings with potential clients, and also ideally incorporating their feedback already in the product development. And then the 5 startups that are selected to pilot stage will be the ones that will implement, and by implement we may mean demoing, getting feedback, so trying to implement in a relevant working scenario their solutions in SMEs, so potential clients that assume the form of an SME based in Europe or associated countries. And so it's pretty much this kind of partnership program. So first 4 months, it will be devoted to develop the solution to move forward with the business development also, and already getting feedback. And then the final 2 months, the pilot stage, it's actually very much dedicated to have a deeper kind of engagement with potential SME clients. So the team, no, Carla, okay, you're welcome, Melina. This question from Carla: if the entire team have to be engaged in the acceleration program or one representative. So this is pretty much up to you. So we are completely flexible. We have some teams that wanted to, in some meetings at least, to have more than one founder in the mentoring sessions and in the presentation sessions. That we have other teams that already actually have only one founder directing all the engagements with BlockStart. So we are a fully virtual program. Unfortunately, for the sake of the ideation kickoff event and the demo day event, they will, at least the ideation kickoff event will be a remote event. The demo day in February next year, for the finalists, let's see if it may be a physical event. But for the sake of the actual interactions with the mentors, not only BlockStart mentors, but also the external mentors from our pool of experts, these will always be virtual kind of engagements, and you may consider what could be most relevant to you. So sometimes you may even have one founder participating in some call and the other founder participating in different meetings and interactions. So it's completely up to you. Yeah, we tend to be as flexible as possible, so we deeply understand the startup needs, being a founders community in case of success, innovation consultancy that has great knowledge in engaging with startups and also creating acceleration programs for startups. And also in the case of Bright Pixel, we are an early stage VC, so analyzing, investing and supporting startups is our daily life. So we try to make this the least bureaucratic kind of European program possible. So very happy to provide actual help and not be a hurdle whatsoever for your future development. So as some final words, I would say that BlockStart, you can take this as a way of supporting your actual developments that you are foreseeing for the next 6, 7, 8 months, but with an extra support from BlockStart, and being not only the financial grants, but also the mentoring, the connection with the partners, investors, the showcasing at events, not only organized by BlockStart, but also other reference events like in the previous month, European Blockchain Convention, EU Startup Summit. So we have some nice perks to basically support you all the way through mentoring and through exposing you to the broader community. So if you consider this as a potential fit, feel free to apply. And if you have any doubts along the way, please also reach out to us through our email, hello@blockstart.eu, and or through our social media, through our website, so wherever medium that fits you. But last piece of advice, please apply it until early next week so that we can try to validate if you are eligible or not.
Thank you so much, João, and thank you so much to all of you who took the time to be here with us. Thank you so much to Philip from Detorella and to Vitor from GoLympics for sharing their experience. And just as a final remark, we will be sending you a follow-up email with the video recording, but also with a couple of interesting information for you, such as the blog post with the tips and lessons learned, and also this PowerPoint, so that you have all the information on your site. And best of luck if you do apply to our open call. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.